Everyone, how you doing today? My name is Kirsty and on today's video I'm going to be talking through all of these books, aka my rough spring TBR. I didn't do a winter TBR because honestly I don't own that many wintry books and I wasn't having the greatest of times in that part of the year, so I didn't really get round to it. But if we flash back to autumn of last year, I did an autumnal TBR and I talked about the sort of vibes that I get at that time of year, the kind of books that I like to look at. And I thought I'd do a similar thing here. Spring is a time for renewal, it's regeneration, new life is beginning, the days are starting to brighten up, things are starting to warm up a little bit, moods tend to be a bit more upbeat. It's also time for things like spring cleaning, fresh starts, new adventures, all of that kind of thing. So you can imagine that I'm probably not really going to be looking at deep, dark, atmospheric, heavy fantasies and depressing books. I am looking more at romances and other things that tend to crop up more in springtime for me. These are just the physical books. There will be some audiobooks and ebooks throughout as well, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head. And the laptop that I could look on has just this second died on me, and the phone that I could also look on is there, and my tablet is dead. So all of my technology is either dead or being used right now to film, so I can't exactly do that. I have different categories of what I want to look at here. Some of these are like mood, some of these are specific things. The first theme that I'm going to look at is romance. Spring to me is new beginnings, new starts, so obviously it would follow that I would be looking at romances that are like new and fresh, or maybe second chance romances, those kind of things that just give you that really lovely dovey feel good feeling. They're all kind of like in pastel colours and these are quite springtime colours, especially the Sally Thorne one. Like that is just very springtime to me, pastel, lilac, lavender colours. But I have a whole bunch of these. The first one is The Start of Something by Miranda Dickinson, and you know, it literally, the start of something, that just encapsulates spring as a mood to me. And it's the start of a relationship. It starts off as a friendship, it gradually builds to something more, and I just think spring is the time for opportunity, and that's what this book is going to represent. He is ex-military, she's a single parent, I think. Yep. She's a single parent, he is ex-military that suffers with PTSD, and together they meet and the start of something happens. Next up we have The Henna Wars, and this one just YA cute romance, and I've had a few people say that this is fantastic and that I should get to this as soon as possible. It's two girls, one is Bengali and basically her parents are like, you can be anything you want to be, you just can't be gay. And then she meets Flavia and it starts off with a bit of tension because for school they've got to do a project and they both decide to do henna, and one of the girls, the Bengali girl, Nishat, she is like, this is my culture, this is my heritage, I'm going to do it. For Flavia, she's really annoyed at Flavia because it's not part of Flavia's culture and she feels like she shouldn't be doing it, and that's how they meet. And then obviously tensions lead to more, and then there's also like the religious aspect in there and cultural aspects in here. So I feel like this one's going to be a heavy-ish read, but still it has that idea of like first romance, first love and blooming of the first. I then went with The Last Library because even though we're talking about first and this says last, it's kind of like a last chance redemption for the library, and I just feel like this is going to be a really uplifting story about community and coming together. I don't know if this is a romance, but it just looks like the sort of book that's going to have a romance in it. But even if not, spring is a beautiful time to go to the library and just sit and read and watch the birds. Summertime it gets too hot, wintertime it's too cold, but autumn and spring are the best seasons for visiting your library, and certainly my library, where even though the books and the selection is terrible, there's squirrels outside, so I can have a nice little gander at the squirrels. Then we have The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I might move this one into summer because summer I tend to look at vacations and holidays, and this might fit in better. But it is also, you know, a first time romance, and it's got a lot of love and happy feelings, which is the sort of book that I like for spring anyway, so you never know. And then finally we have Second First Impressions, where you've got, she is the manager of a care home, he is the son of the care home's owner, and basically he is forced to work there because his dad thinks it's time for him to grow up and become more responsible. When he meets her, she thinks that he's just a lazy layabout, and he thinks that she's got a stick up her ass. And essentially, it's not a very good first meeting. But then they meet again, they start to realise that maybe they're actually a good match for each other. And with the fact that it's set in a care community and there's going to be like old people, I think it's just going to be a very adorable, very lovely, shiny, new, happy things. Spring is usually the launch of convention season for like cosplaying and anime and gaming conventions. So what better than to finish the Once Upon a Con series? So I've got The Princess and the Fangirl, which is book 2, and I have already started, and then Bookish and the Beast. And I just think that these are perfect because they're geeky, they're nerdy, and geeky time of year. Spring, like I said, it is when a lot of new games get launched. It's one of the big times of year for conventions to start up. It's when book conventions start, and it's just a great time of year for being a nerd. And I also have Out of Character by Jenna Miller for this one as well, because not only is it nerdy, it's another one where it features a character who is part of that nerd culture and does online gaming, and I just think it fits that theme. And then the final book that I've chosen for spring, for no real particular reason than I just felt the cover kind of made me think of spring a little bit, and spring is a good time for humour and for laughing and shaking off those cobwebs of winter. So you want something funny to like shake it all off and get yourself back in the swing, and who better to do that than TJ Klune? So I've gone with Flashfire because it's the second book in the Extraordinary series. It's hilarious and it has some characters that I absolutely adore in, and I just feel like it will be a perfect book to kickstart that brushing off the cobwebs, setting up for sunny days and getting ourselves ready for the warm days to come. Those are my spring selections. Obviously, there's no guarantee I'll get to them. It's just those are the kinds of books and the type of books that I typically stray towards at this time of year, and these are some of the books that I would like to get to. Let me know in the comments if you have any particular types of books that you tend to pick up in spring above any others, and if you have got your own TBR, let me know some of the books or leave a link to your video below. Always welcome. I hope you're all good, I hope you're staying safe, and until next time,